I think it's kind of shocking seeing so many people talk a big game about political violence and this sort of non-existing, really, issue of left-wing political violence, and they seem so appalled and distraught. But yet, something that I feel went completely unnoticed is the fact that Israel assassinated the Prime Minister of Yemen. Not a blip in the media. Like, that's the pinnacle of political violence. If you're appalled at all of this, which is supposedly happening, you should be advocating for dismantling the apartheid state. I'm just saying. Sometimes I actually wish that politicians like Bernie Sanders and AOC were funded by AIPAC, because at least then they'd have like material attachments that force them to use the tame language that they do when discussing what Israel is doing in Gaza. But now it just feels like they're doing it for the love of the game. Like, I mean, of course they're pioneers in the American landscape, but that's not really hard to achieve. Words have meanings, and Bernie Sanders only recently called it a genocide after the UN did. They're the only force in the American fabric that can push the permission structure further to the left, and they have a duty to do so. Benjamin Netanyahu is not a bad guy. And I say that in the sense that he's not the problem. If you were to replace him with any other leader, he would do the same thing. There's a reason why if you go from Menachem Begin to Yitzhak Shamir to Shimon Peres, going through Ehud Barak, you get the same treatment of the Palestinian people. It's embedded not only in the Zionist political project, but in Israeli society in general. Because even if you look at the attempted peace agreements with Yitzhak Rabin, what happened then? He got assassinated by a far-right Israeli. There is no peace-seeking process in Israeli society because it is built on the domination of the Palestinian people. You need to uproot it as a political system as a whole. I think it's so crazy that Israel can still frame itself and twist the narrative in a way where they're the ones seeking peace. Like, do people not realize they tried to assassinate the negotiation team in Doha, a foreign nation? Do they not realize that they've attacked like 9 sovereign countries in the last year? And just a couple weeks ago, they assassinated the Prime Minister of Yemen. And yet, in the American media, and of course the Israeli propaganda, there's still this peaceful dove, this small being. Oh, everyone's against Israel. No, you can't concede to this framing, because even, right, where you're forced to condemn Hamas, on October 10th, they said they would release the hostages. They've said numerous times they're willing to cede power in Gaza as long as the Palestinian people have statehood and are safe. I'm all for pinning the government shutdown on the Republicans because, yes, they do control everything because of Democrat failure. But at the same time, it feels so hard to do so because you have, at the head of the Democratic Party, maybe the least charismatic and least eloquent people I've ever seen. Because the way Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries seem to talk and try to appeal to their base, it just seems like their strategy is to send them in and get Republicans to get hooked because of exhaustion.